Man, I'm always glad to see it. Do you know how great it feels to be back with you all once again for another Thursday night, another edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. Let me make sure I'm pointing the right way. No, that way. Yeah, there she is. But we want to make sure that we are gathered around our devices, our televisions. Thank you to so many of you who have told us that you often project this broadcast onto the big screen at your house. So, teacher, we've made the big screen.
I've made the big screen.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
ready for
big
my
screen.
Oscar.
Yeah, yeah.
I am.
Okay. Just relax now. Not
What did
that
I?
big screen.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
but we're on the way. We're on the way. So we can see that always first in the room, just like Charlie Mack is first out the limo. First one in the room. There's Trisha.
Hey,
Hey,
Trish.
family. She says, hey, family. And so we're gathering around. But as this world continues to convulse in the clutches of change and things become difficult from one end of the planet to another, you can count on the one thing, and that is the presence of the divine in yourself. And you're going to make it if you stay connected to that divinity. So we got good news for you tonight. We're not going to preach. You know, we don't preach.
Just a little bit.
Okay, well, we try
Turn
not
it
to
over a
preach.
new
We
leaf.
we try not to preach on nothing but the truth. So, in order to avoid preaching, we turn you over into the hands mhm, of the great one, the host herself, the one with the most beautiful host in the world, Sister Tisha.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to another exciting edition of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We are so glad that you're tuning in today. We have a big treat for you. Big treat. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But before we do that, we need you to help us grow this platform. So, as we do every week, we ask you to go on over to our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth, with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And please like, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure and sign up for notifications so that you know when we go live. Then, after you do that, just go right over to our Facebook page. It's under Tisha Muhammad and do the same. Like, share, and subscribe. Come on back. Tell a friend. Hamada.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell everybody. You know Lottie and Dottie and everybody. So we want to welcome everybody into the room. We remind you that tonight, as we strive to reach the milestone of 1,000 subscribers, we're sitting at 843. Before you get into the program tonight, if it's your first visit or if it's your 101st and you just forgot to subscribe to the channel, go right over and click the link to subscribe and then hit the bell icon so you can receive notifications of every time we come on the air. Every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, we should be ready to rock. And tonight, we will rock and roll because we have with us one of the great authors in our community writing about one of the great subjects that presents itself to us as an opportunity and a major challenge.
Beautiful.
She's with us tonight after having written this book almost 4 years ago. And it's still a classic, still selling, still vital, and still helping people to prepare themselves for healthy marriages, strong families, and great relationships.
That's right.
She is a Spelman graduate. She's a law student and a great executive in the world of business and everything else that she has done. Her resume reads this long. We'd be here for 25 minutes reading the resume. But she's also a good sister and a good friend to many of us around the country. She's back with us today. We're going to share snippets from the book. It's right here. The book is called Relationship Talks, a guide to meaningful conversations for couples in courtship, engagement, and marriage. Why don't you join me, family, in welcoming the author to the stage? It's our sister, Katrina Muhammad. Sister Katrina, come forward if you will. Ah, there she is. All right, all right. Good to see you. she's got the she's got
Of
the
course.
icon. Okay. I don't know how to. I think my fingers are too stubby. I don't know.
Assalamu
Anyway,
alaikum.
wa
Walaikum salam.
alaikum salam,
So
sister.
good
It's
to
so
see
good.
the two of you. You look so beautiful. I love it.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute.
I,
Before you go on, Ham, do yours again. Let me see your heart. What was that you made? Oh, that's
His is
nice.
like this.
I like
is
it.
that
That's nice. Yeah.
I think you're being
I
sarcastic. I
was just,
do.
oh, it's nice. I was encouraging.
Okay. All right.
It
Okay.
was just for you, Sister
Okay.
Teacher.
Yeah, it's just for you. That's what I'm saying. So listen, we have to get right into it tonight. I want to
Yes.
encourage everybody as you come into the room, of course, continue to check in, sign in, to subscribe, to like, and to share. But tonight in this book, and I didn't mention this in our introductory remarks, but I was privileged and greatly honored, Sister Katrina, when you asked me all those years ago to write the foreword to this book. And I wrote based on my knowledge of the book, yes. I read the manuscript in one day. And when I got finished reading the manuscript, I picked up the phone, I called Sister and said, "Do you know what you got here?"
You did.
And she was like, "Whatever I got,
Right.
I'm watching TV." But I was
I was
intentional
shocked though.
telling
I was
her.
just shocked. Like, first of all, I was shocked that you read the manuscript that quickly. And then I was shocked that you said, yes, this is a wonderful project and I will write the for. I was like, is it really? Is it am I getting punked right now? Is this
Right. Right.
really happening?
Sweet.
And so I was just like, all praises due to Allah. It's just one of those things, and I think good for your viewers to know is sometimes you just got to step out there,
Come on.
and I had seen you. We had had some conversation, but I had never necessarily really worked with you to the degree that we worked together on this project. And you're a busy man and student minister in the nation, a very well known student minister and helper and friend of the minister. And I mean, he puts you to work. You have
Yeah.
projects, you report to him. And so I didn't know if you would have time, but I prayed on it, and my spirit was telling me, no, you need a brother, a good brother, a student minister to write the forward. Like they need to hear that voice
Well,
of a
all
brother,
praise is due to
you
the
know.
Lord.
So all
Mhm.
praises due to Allah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I'm going to share with everybody
Mm-hmm.
some of what I wrote here. And we're being joined. I know my brothers are on the line, and I'm seeing them checking in on YouTube, and there's Facebook coming in. I see North Carolina in the house. Our friends in California and Texas are
Okay,
here. Good to
CA.
see everybody. All right. Yes, everybody's here. But I wanted to just share with you what the perspective is to start the discussion before Sister Tisha gets into the real meat and bones. But what I said after reviewing the manuscript to the reader who picks up this book in a bookstore, they're standing there in Barnes and Nobles. They're standing there in a bookstore. They don't really know. They're just, they're, or if you're in Philly, you're in Black and Noble, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the Barnes and Noble, Black and Noble, and you pick it up. So my question is this from the text. So you're asking yourself, once I get started and begin to read the text and do the activities that come along with the reading, what's going to happen? From my perspective, here's what I see. Number one, you will start noticing that it is easier for you to identify and express your own thoughts and opinions. Your own thinking will become more organized, thus allowing you to be more concise and efficient in your conversation with a spouse, fiance, or prospective courtmate or suitor. Relationship talks can open up a window into our own ways of processing thoughts. That's number one. Number two, as you improve your relationship with you, and begin to settle on the best part of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
subjects that were once cringingly uncomfortable will become tolerable and then enlightening. Indeed, when you know your own self better, you can navigate the world around you with much greater ease. Number three, the novel and ingenious system of questions that Miss Muhammad introduces in this groundbreaking new approach to an age old activity will allow you to get control of information as opposed to the other way around. Lines of inquiry that would have been considered taboo or risque, rude or importunate just a few years ago, when this paradigm had yet to be created, can now be seamlessly integrated into progressive conversations that bring real results. And finally, I finish with lastly, you're going to have fun.
Right.
Yes, I used the F word, fun. You and I need to be able to ask and answer the tough stuff with a smile.
Smile.
I'm not saying you'll giggle your way through telling your boo all about the open warrants that came up out of that lost weekend in Reno. But when we understand that nobody's perfect, we'll be much less hard on ourselves because we aren't. So, my friend, dig in, sit back, get comfortable, and begin a journey with Sister Katrina Muhammad that could land you smack dab in the middle of where you want to be, fully in charge of the options that you've prayed would be in your life.
Mm.
This book is the bomb, okay?
That
As we
forward was the bomb.
as we used to say over on Cadu and East Warren, this book is out cold. And you need
That's
to know
right.
it's out cold. And so I'm
God,
going to turn you over in the hands of Sister Tisha. She's going to guide our discussion tonight, but I'm fired up to just be here and be learning. I got a pen and everything. Let's go.
praise be to Allah.
Exciting, exciting, exciting. Well, everyone, if this is your first time seeing or hearing about relationship talks, I want Sister Katrina to just give you a little bit of a background on it, just a little bit, because it's different than any average relationship book. Like, it's not a preachy book, it's a hands-on book, and that's what makes it so wonderful, so fun, right? This It's a book where you're not just somebody's just reading or lecturing to you on how you should do this and that for your relationship. It's a book that makes you dive into you and make sure you're right before you get into this relationship. It's a book that makes that other person that you're interested in maybe getting in the relationship with tell the truth, the whole truth, and
Mhm.
nothing but the truth. You
But the
can't
truth.
run from it. There's 2,000 questions, and you never know
2000.
which angle they're coming from. They just come. And if it's somebody like me who's a little bit petty, I'm gonna bring them rapid fire, right, huh? Rapid fire. So you don't have time to think about it. I want to know what's going on. All right. So, Sister Katrina, if you
Mhm.
could just give some of our new viewers a little bit of the background about how this came about, why it came about, and what makes it different than other relationship type books.
Okay, yes, ma'am. First of all, assalamu alaikum to all your viewers. I'm so happy to be on your show again. It's been a minute, but you know what? I'm so thankful to have been invited back,
Yes.
and I'm so thankful to be here today. So, I mean, I have to say, all praise is due to Allah. I really feel like this book, I mean, it's my book, my name is on it or whatever,
Hmm.
right? But the reality is, Allah gave me these questions. The questions came to me because I was in a relationship and I was in a marriage, a courtship. Engagement, then marriage, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. And I was kind of left like, what? How did
Right.
that just happen? Wait a minute, hold on, roll that back. What did I miss? Like, what's
Right.
going on? And because I did the courtship manual, we sat down with my student minister. We had premarital counseling. We sat with my parents. I mean, just did everything the way that we're taught to do it. And it just really shocked me that, there were some things I apparently did not see. I didn't verify enough.
Hmm.
So the minister has something, and I posted this on my Facebook page, saying that we should verify, right? But it was specifically to the women he was talking to. And he said, I like that word verification. And I'm talking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of whom we love. And we are
Hmm.
so thankful to still have him in our
That's
midst.
right.
And
That's right.
so when I looked up, he said, you have to verify these men, right? And then I looked up the word verify. It's a verb, and it means make sure or demonstrate that something is true, accurate. But I like this last one too, comma, or justified.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
said,
Hmm.
oh, what? I
Hmm.
have to make sure, I got to make sure this person is justified. And so
Right.
essentially, when I researched, the divorce rate, right, in our community, not just in our Muslim community, not just the Nation of Islam, but the greater Muslim community, and then the Black community, and then I just kept going further out, in terms of the community in this nation, which means everybody. It
Hmm.
was just shocking to me, the percent of divorce, right? And then I started researching, well, why is there all of this divorce? What is going on? Because when people get married, I'm sure they love each other. I'm sure, when they said those vows, they meant those vows. And, how could how could things just go off track, off the rails? What is going on?
Mhm.
And so I discovered, Allah helps me to discover that
Mhm.
essentially we were not verifying well enough, and we weren't asking enough questions. Hence,
Okay.
relationship talks and the 2,000 questions that are in the book, right? And so I thank Allah for that. And as I started sharing the questions, because I still didn't see it as a book, I just saw it as this manuscript I was just going to give out to people, right? Because I said, okay, I'm going to put these questions together for myself. So the next time I'm in the courtship, I'm going to ask these questions, right? And so I started sharing them. And then the more and more I shared them, the more and more I received feedback from people saying, do you have this in a book? I'd like to buy, the whole,
Mm.
all of your like
Mhm.
piecemealing questions. These are great questions. And I was like, oh no, I could just email you. I think I did email several people the manuscript that I had at that time of like, I don't know, 10 or 15 pages of questions. And then it got longer and longer. And eventually I kept hearing, you need to put this in a book, sis. And so I prayed on it and I said, Allah, are you trying to tell me to put this in the book? I
Right.
don't know. Sometimes other people can see things and you could be like right there
Mhm.
and not see it. And I was
Mhm. Mhm.
thinking people would want to read a book of questions. And then I started thinking, well, yeah, why not? And then does this exist somewhere? Because I don't want to I don't want to redo something. It's already out there. I'll just tell people go get that person's book. But I couldn't find a book like it at all. So I said, okay, Allah, you want me to put these questions in a book. Great. Okay. So now I need to sit down. I've never written a book before. This is a new experience. I need to get a producer. I need to get a graphic designer. I need to get an editor and just all those things. And so I started working with Brother Kofi. He
Mhm.
helped several other people who produce books in our nation. So I asked around for a good person, and he's the name that I got. And then I spoke with him. His spirit was great. He understood what I was trying to do with the project. And then Brother Taiwan out of Houston
Mhm.
helped put the cover together and all the graphics.
He's Fort
No,
Worth.
Fort Worth.
He's Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, Fort Worth. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I
Mhm.
said
Fort Worth,
Houston.
yes.
My bad. Fort Worth, Texas. I know. Wait a minute. Let me get it. That's not the same. It's Texas, but it's not the same. And but he did all the graphic design work in the book. The photo on the back was Brother Talib here in Chicago. He did the portfolio picture, and which I
Mhm.
highly recommend everybody just get a portfolio picture. You don't know when you're going to need it, but just have it, right? And then Sister Karai, very, very dear friend of mine out of DC. Well, she's from Detroit, but we
Mhm.
met and really, I guess, became sisters in our friendship in DC. She was one of the editors. My mother, of course, I had to put her to work because she's a retired court reporter, and she loves that little red pen of hers. So, she was editing. And just if I left anyone out, please forgive me. And then of course, student minister Jamil, who wrote the foreword to the book.
Love it.
But I thank everyone who has purchased the book. I thank everyone who gave me some advice that I was talking to about the book, and I thank Allah so much because the book was produced in 2020. It's now 2024. I can't believe it's been 4 years
Still
since it's
rolling.
been out.
Right.
And I get so much feedback. I mean, there isn't a week that goes by that I don't hear from someone, either an email, a text, a Facebook,
Right.
a DM in Facebook or something, or even in the mosque. One of my sisters recently, I'm not gonna say no names, but anyway, she's at courtship, and the brother was like, "You have to get this book, Relationship Talks," and it's by Sister Katrina Muhammad. She was like, "Sister Katrina, I know it's Sister Katrina." So
I
she
know her.
right, she sees my picture on the back. She's like, "Wait a minute, that's my neighbor." Because we live very close to one another. She said, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you wrote a book." And so I'm still hearing from people who are getting the book is new to them and they're
Yeah.
starting to read it. And one feedback, a
Mhm.
sister said, just what you said, Sister Tisha. She said,
Mhm.
"You know what? I guess I'm surprised. I opened the book and it just had questions in there. You
Right.
weren't,
It's not a story or a
yeah,
lecture.
exactly." And I said, "No, sis, because I'm not a relationship counselor, and it's not my job to counsel you. That's
Mhm.
between you and Allah. We're told make Allah sufficient." But
But you-
Allah planted these questions in my mind and allowed me to put them on paper so that when you're in the situation of courtship, if you can think of the question or you can't think of the question, now you have a reference book that you can refer to that can help you with some questions you want to ask, and maybe even help you think of additional questions that are not in the book
right.
that you want to ask yourself. So I thank Allah. And that's where the book came from.
You said something. It's more like it's not just a read. It is actually like a manual because the questions kind of guide you. It kind of gives you um courage, if you will, to
Praise
ask some of the
Allah.
questions that you may have been a little bit hesitant to ask because you don't want to come across as rude or maybe too pushy or a little nosy. Some stuff is just uncomfortable. But
Yes.
when
Well,
Yeah.
the way it's written in the book, it's kind of fun.
well, I'll
Praise
tell you,
Allah.
it ended up being, I don't know if, because we did, by
You
way
did
of
it every night.
transparency,
Yeah.
we did this, um, and we went through the book.
Right.
And
Praise
if
Allah.
you ever were uncomfortable, Tisha, asking a question, it was not apparent to me
Right.
because you just said, like it said right here on page 84, my brother.
Right. Right.
I mean, and then
Right.
so you went
It was
in
crazy. No, wait,
and
but then I'd hang up and call him back to my. Let me tell you something. Have you ever? And he'd be like,
Emma.
Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
Listen, I was just thinking on page 38, it
yeah,
said that.
yeah, yeah. But all in all, the experience is good because it is not mean spirited.
No.
Can you
Praise
talk, Sister
Allah.
Katrina, a little bit about the spirit behind the book? What were you? How was it that these possibly difficult circumstances turn out to draw people together? And I know couples who have used relationship talks and did not get married, but
Mhm.
became better brothers and sisters in the
Beautiful.
mosque
One another. Yeah.
because of it. What was the
Amen.
spirit
Wow.
like when you were putting it together?
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for asking me that. And thank you for sharing that. My spirit was that I really just wanted to create a product to help us. And when I say help us, that's help men, help women, help us in the nation, help Black people in general, um,
Mhm.
because we're suffering, and I don't think anyone wants to be divorced. I don't think anyone wants to be single. I think people genuinely want a happy, healthy relationship, and happiness with their counterpart, finding the other half of their faith. I genuinely feel that people want to do that, but
Mhm.
they need help.
Mhm.
And so my spirit was just wanting to help the brothers and the sisters speak straight words to each other, because the minister said speak straight words. And
Mhm.
so that's what I was trying to accomplish with this book.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate you saying that the words in the text was very clear but not offensive, because I really didn't want it to be offensive, but I did want it to be clear, though, because
Right.
there are subjects we can't keep dancing around. We have to have serious dialogue, because guess what? Marriage is serious. It's a
Mhm.
very serious thing to marry someone, devote your life, and build something with them. It's not a plaything. And so I really wanted this book to come across as a serious piece of work that people can ask each other questions across, various subject matter, um, and even some subject matter that might be, a little sensitive, like molestation and
Mhm.
rape, and how did you grow up? But because the reality is, we've all experienced some kind of trauma, you
Mhm.
know, and so just even talking about whatever trauma you may have experienced over the years can be triggering. You have to be very careful how you address the subject matter, but you still
Yes.
need to address it, though,
Rest.
because that person who you want to court, that person who you may potentially want to marry, they have a right to know.
Right.
They
Right.
need to know, and
Mhm.
them not knowing can create a situation of failure, as opposed to set up your relationship for success.
Come on.
Yeah.
So this
Yes.
this book was written in truth, and the goal was to speak truth and get truth,
Mhm.
and share truth, share our truths with one another.
Yes, indeed. And we can't go to all of the comments on screen at one time, but I will share one with you
Mhm.
from the comment section our brother William Muhammad out in Oakland, California. He says he's so thankful for these thought provoking and conversation starting questions. Thank you for the vision and work you put into this book. Talking about work, the work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
How did you just sit down, like you said, you've never done it before, but you cranked it out. You made it work. What was, did you have a rhythm, a pattern? Was there a daily routine that you followed?
You know what? This is so beautiful. You know, I really felt like Allah was talking to me and literally
Mhm.
helping me write this book, like pulling the questions out of me, because I would think of questions while driving down the road. And
Mm.
then I would grab my phone, the audio, I'd click the audio because I had it like right on the front, where I could just click it and start speaking the questions as I'm driving so I wouldn't forget the questions.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes it would be so deep that I was like, I got to pull over, because Allah was putting this in my mind and
It's
Mhm.
full.
literally wanted me to put it from my mind onto the text like right away. So I would pull over and I would
Mhm.
go ahead and had some paper, a notebook with me, and I would jot everything down. And then when I got home later from work, that's when I was typing everything. Now,
Mhm.
it helped me a lot. It's so wonderful because at the time that this book was created, remember I told you it was published 2020.
Uh-huh.
So remember, COVID happened. And when COVID happened, everything was shut down.
Right.
The medical job that I had at the time, doing orthopedic surgeries, assisting my doctors. People say, "You did the surgery?" No, I was a device sales rep. So my job was to help my doctors with the surgery with the products that I had. So I did the surgery from the perspective of I was standing 2 feet from the doctor, telling him or her, "Okay, make sure you drill that, do that. Yep, you need this device. Yes, make that incision."
Okay, so you did the surgery. Basically,
So,
you did
I
the
mean,
surgery.
right, I tried to, but
Without
I'm not
dirty
a
in our
doctor.
hands.
I
Yeah.
am not a doctor. I'm one of those people in the OR that helps the surgeon, right? So anyway, when COVID happened, there were no surgeries, right? Because
Mhm.
elective surgery, everything got shut down. The hospitals needed those beds for COVID patients. And
Right.
so at that point, Allah just cleared my schedule. I had no excuse. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and type all this stuff out. I had pages here and there and notebooks of questions. I said, you know what? I'm going to get this done and I'm going to go ahead. Allah's telling me to do this now. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I just sat down and cranked it out, and got it done. And so I tell everyone, your viewers who are watching, the minister has even said this. We all have a book in us.
Come on.
Mm.
We all have a
Mhm.
story to tell. We all have some good information or something we've gone through, something we've overcome, Allah has helped us with, that we need to share. Now, the struggle is in making the time to actually sit down and do it, right?
Exactly.
Literally type it out or create an outline, and get it done, right? So don't delay, don't procrastinate. Let that book that's in you, that Allah has put in you, come out, because you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
no idea the words that you have, the expressions you have, what you've gone through, what Allah has placed in your mind to put on paper. You have no idea how that's going to bless someone until
Come
it
on.
happens. Because I had no idea that there were people reading this book. There would be people reading my book and like so grateful, and sharing
Mhm.
all of these stories with me of what happened to them after they read the book, or the couple that got closer, in their marriage. They were already married and they read the book and they got even closer because they learned things about each other that they didn't even know. And they had already been married over 10 years. I was
That's
like,
true.
what?
Right,
you
but then
know,
you notice how when I acknowledged that and I pointed my finger,
Yeah.
the copycat in the screen over there did the same thing, So I don't know why
yes,
she won't
I
let me be
love it.
great by myself.
I
But
let you
listen,
do it
Love it.
first. So
okay,
I let
Synchronizing.
you
You're in
lead.
sync. That's what it is. You're
T-
in sync.
Teach, what's happening? Are we at a certain point in the program,
We
Sister
are. We
Teach?
are. We are about to reach the bottom of the hour, everyone. Actually, we're here, right? Okay.
Hmm?
Everyone, we're here at the bottom of the hour. So we're going to take our quick break. We want you to go get your little drink. Come on back, because when we come back for the second part, we're getting into the book. You're
Oh
going to
yeah.
experience some of the questions. I'm going to bring it rapid fire. Ham, you ready? Get you a drink because you're
And
going to
don't
need it.
forget
I'm
to
coming for
click.
you.
What is this? Sister? Click subscribe. share,
Oh, like, share, and subscribe.
like, share. Yes, do all of that.
And come on over to our YouTube page. Put your comments in, guys. We want to hear from you.
I saved it.
We'll be right
I'm
back.
subscribed.
Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
What are we saying? What are we doing? Woo! Assalamualaikum, family. Assalamualaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
We want to thank you for taking the time to tune into Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil
And Sister Tisha. We thank you for every Thursday night joining us for appointment viewing. 8 p.m. Not 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on the PM.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Thursday nights by YouTube, by Facebook, by Instagram, by all the other means by which we can be seen. But we thank you because without you, as a matter of fact, here the Manhattans, there's no me without you.
We always do that. Assalamualaikum.
There's no me.
You didn't say assalamualaikum. You didn't say assalamualaikum.
Oh, assalamualaikum. Whoa, whoa.
This has to be part.
Thank you. Thank
in the
you.
next
Thank
book,
you.
in the next book. It has
Thank
to
you.
be something about that random singing
Thank you.
with the little dirty
you,
spoon.
everybody.
I can't.
No, my spoon is.
Sorry.
In any event, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are back and we're going to get right to the part that Inner Peace 360 is saying. And she's saying, I'm excited
She's
to
excited.
get to the questions.
Me too.
We're going to get to some questions right now. We've got the expert here with us. She doesn't claim to be an expert, but she is, because they say if you don't have a degree in electrical engineering, but you can still fix the lights, you the electrical engineer. So
I love
that's what's happening right here. And also, there's a question in the chat about how to purchase the book. Could you just tell us that, and we're going to jump right into the questions. Sister Katrina, please.
Yes, you can purchase a book on Amazon. And if you live here in Chicago, you can purchase a book on Sunday at MUI with the believers that have the book book vendors right at MUI. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Got it. All right.
Okay.
Tisha, this is your part. Let's go.
Okay,
I'm ready.
here we go.
I'm listening. I'm ready.
So, family, the book is broken down into several different chapters, different subjects, if you will. Things like family and friends, intimacy, finance and work, education and religion, things like that. And each section has a bunch of questions for you to answer, right? You answer, and then, so how me and Ham did it was he would read one, and then I answer first. And then I would read the next one, and he answer first, so that you're just not copying off the other person's thing. And it keeps you on your toes, just guessing. But there's this one section that I want to share with y'all tonight. It's called What Would You Do? And so what would you do is just a whole bunch of mixed up scenarios, and they just come at you, and you have to, like, just right off the top of your dome, what would you do if this happened? Okay. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not all finance. It's not all intimacy, whatever. Right. So just an example. I'm on page, if you have your book, friends, saints, turn to page 111 with me. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Amen.
Uh-huh. Scenario number 3 on page 111.
111.
If you go to your doctor's office, sir, and they forget to ask you for your copay, do you let them know and pay it, or do you just leave?
You're not asking me to answer that, are you?
I'm asking you. What would you do?
I am a good citizen.
Okay. I'm not. I'm leaving. Okay.
No.
Oh,
But the only thing that would make me leave is that I might think that they would bill me later. I might think that automatically.
they will.
And so sometimes if they don't ask for it, I would forget it because, different insurances you got depend on, what you're doing.
Right.
You got insurance where you don't have a copay, you don't even think about it. But sometimes you go to a specialist, you got a copay, you know what I mean?
So you would
So
you would tell them, I didn't pay my copay. That's what you're saying?
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Right. Right. Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. So
All right.
now you're gonna ask all the questions or
Now
do
go ahead
I?
and ask me a question.
Good, because I'm gonna ask the question.
Ask me a
And
question.
Katrina's right here. The referee is
So
right here.
before
And
you ask that next question, the reason why, if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
as you start reading more of these what would you do
Mm-hmm.
scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, the more a person answers the questions, kind of reveals something about their character.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
It reveals something about how they view themselves, and what the
Mm-hmm.
minister, brother minister, just said. He said, "I'm a good citizen." Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how he started out.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm,
how he views himself in life and just in general, how he comports himself, how he wants other people to view him. Like, no, 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 wait, hold up. I'm a good citizen. So
Right.
what I would do is the responsible thing, ma'am.
mm-hmm,
Right. And so as you read more and more and you go through this chapter called What Would You Do? It
Mm-hmm.
really are a lot of questions, really getting to the morality of the person and the
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
ethics. That's
All
very,
right.
very important.
So do you find that the first thing they say is really what they really meant to say? Because you know, as you go on explaining, then you try to your answer kind of changes. But
Yes. And
yeah.
so this type of question is kind of written in the book in other questions, just
Yes.
not the
Right.
same. Because
Love it.
Right.
what I was trying to get through in the question, so that the reader, as you're questioning the person that you're interested in, is this verified what the minister said? Make sure or demonstrate that something is true, accurate,
Mm-hmm.
or justified,
Love
right?
it.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we're trying to get through all of the noise, all of the pomp, the cuteness, the whatever, to
Mm-hmm.
who are you? Who are you really? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Who are
Right.
you when nobody's looking?
Come
Who
on.
are you
Mm-hmm.
when there are no Muslims around?
Mm-hmm.
When the
Mm-hmm.
minister, whoever you think might judge you, your lieutenants or who are you really?
At
When
that
you're
point.
in
At
a
that point.
situation, at
Love
that
it.
point, you got a
Mm-hmm.
choice. You can say nothing, walk out. They didn't ask me. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
chase me for this money, right? So
Wow.
then now let's look at your credit,
Mm-hmm.
because like
Mm-hmm.
Sister Teacher said, they have your address.
Right, right. They
They
know
will
they
mail
know
you
where to
the
send.
bill.
They know where to send the bill, right? Like,
So
so.
you're not
And,
really getting away, but that mentality of
mm-hmm.
someone who knows they owe something
Uh-huh.
could probably check, but their attitude is, I ain't
Catch me if you can. Yeah.
whatever.
and
Right.
even
That's
though
a
we
certain
don't,
spirit,
and
you know.
even though we don't preach on nothing but the truth, I have to tell you, you cannot be with and be sincere about being with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and
Teach.
emerge at the end of that time as some small time, shisty, crooked,
Come
no
on.
good receiver.
I love
If
it.
the minister is with you and you sincerely love him and you're trying to follow him and help him, and he says to you that he won't write a check unless he knows that he has the balance in his account to cover the
Right.
check.
Right.
The
Teach.
minister, see, they don't even give the minister a citation for spitting on the sidewalk.
Right.
The minister is not a person given to take anything from anyone. If you leave your possession with him, it's safe.
Safe.
And what
That's
I
right.
have tried to do is to be that kind of an individual. So maybe that's why I did respond. I'm trying to be a good citizen. I believe I'm a good citizen.
I know
And
you are too.
when you ask that question about and we're going to go back to the doctor's office before I ask your question. Usually, it's such a routine at the desk. If you go to the doctor's office, it's a routine.
Correct.
And my thought is, if they don't ask you for a copay, you might not have one for that doctor. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have it, pay it. And you usually
Right.
should know what it is when you get there.
But
All
look
right.
what Brother William said in the chat. He said all insurance don't have a copay. Just ask them if there's a copay, right? Just
Yeah.
ask. But guess
Hmm.
what? To even understand to just ask requires the person to have what? Humility
Character.
Mm-hmm.
and character, to
Yes.
go up and ask, to be humble and ask,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything? I just finished seeing the doctor. Is there anything you need me to sign?
Mm-hmm.
Do I owe a copay? Is there
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
anything you need me to do before I leave? Right? You
Mm-hmm.
check
Yes.
in with
Yes.
them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then
Because
Yes,
you
you
got
got
to
the
indeed.
be
other kind of
conservative.
spirit where a
Mm-hmm.
person's like, I don't have to check in with nobody. I don't have to. I do what I want to do, And so you're trying to
I'm out.
discern in
Right.
this question, and there are others. What
Hmm.
is the character of the person, like you just said, brother minister? What is the spirit
Hmm.
of the
Yep.
person? Because I mean, we're being taught and trained in a certain kind of way. We have the example right in front of us. The clean glass is right in front of us. So the question is, as we're wearing
Hmm.
these headscarves and bow ties and all this other kind of stuff, do we really want to be what the clean glass is showing us? Or do we
Mm.
are we stuck in the old way of I'm gonna do it my way, as opposed to the best way, to Allah's way, right? And so these
Yes.
questions are trying to parse and sift that out, like the truth out of the person in terms of who are you really? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Beautiful.
think it's a
Re-
simple question, but it's not. It
No.
leads
you
to
ready
so
for
much
my
more,
question?
right?
You ready for my
I'm
question?
ready. I'm ready.
Now here
Let's
comes
go.
another. Okay, you ready, Sister Katrina? Here it is. All
Let's
right.
go.
All right,
Now,
let's see.
and you're right, Brother William, a Muslim pays they debt. He said
Bingo.
some people, he said some people walking around
Facts.
out here with a 385 FICO score. My
Come on.
goodness. That's bad. That's
When he
bad
say
news.
it like that, wow.
You can't even buy a cup of water at a truck stop, brother. Whew. All right, here we go.
Okay. What number you on?
Now, I'm gonna go on page 112.
Okay.
And our text for this evening
Uh,
directs us there now to question 13. It's a
read.
question for the read, but it's a question for the times in which we live. It asks this, and this is why, folks, you got to get your books. Sister Katrina's going to tell you the address and the way to get your and order your books. Order them on Speed Deliver. That's
Mm.
the way you need to do it.
Okay.
Question
Wait.
13 says, scenario: you're having a conversation with your spouse, but instead of looking at you, they're reading and responding to text messages on their phone. How would you feel and how would you respond?
Mm.
Mm. I would feel like what I was saying wasn't important. I
Mm.
would be like, are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Are you look huh? Are you here? Huh? Like that. Until I got your attention. And then you
Mhm.
would say, yes, I hear you. Yes. But it does make me feel like what I was saying wasn't important to that person at the time. I would want somebody to look at me, to engage with me, and I would like to know that they're understanding or even interested in what I'm saying. So
Hmm. And
I
I
would.
thought that was a question for these times, Sister
Mhm.
Katrina, because so many people are so engaged with electronic devices for so
Mhm.
many different functions of their lives. And then the news came in from the Middle East over the last couple of days, how there was a shipment first of pagers and
Mm.
then of walkie-talkies. And
Mhm.
people say, why are you going back to pagers? Are you listening to Ice
Mhm.
Cube records? No, no, it's not about that.
Mm.
But in that part of the world, you don't want your communication intercepted on regular cellular phone communication. So some people go to pagers and walkie-talkies. But the companies who built and distributed them apparently allowed someone to put detonated devices in them, and they exploded, killing scores of people. So these devices may not be as friendly to you as you think they are. And so you might want to depend more on what you can do in person with the person who matters most to you. So I'm gonna let Sister Katrina get on that before we get to these last two questions. We're hurrying toward the conclusion, and we
Mhm.
got to make sure we get this together. Go ahead, Sister Katrina. What
Well,
did we learn about that?
you hit the nail on the head in terms of
Mhm.
like society and where we are and how detached we are from talking to one another, from even looking at one another as a person is speaking. We're doing all other kind of stuff while the person is trying to have a conversation. I mean, now it's so bad that you have people that have these baskets at the dinner table. Everyone has to put their cell phone in the basket because it's just
Mhm.
out of control in terms of
Mhm.
people on their phones while dinner is happening. Like, what are you
Mhm.
doing? And then also now you have schools where the children have been on the phone so much and it's such a distraction to their learning. You have schools that are going to a no cell phone policy where the
Mhm.
Mhm.
children have to check in their phones in a locked, secured area for the entire school day, and they are not allowed their phones until the end of the day. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So, in addition to what you just said, I'm a reader
Mhm.
and I love to read. And this is a book. I know we're talking about my book, but this
Mhm.
is a book the minister told us to read,
Yes,
Rise and
and
Kill
kill
First.
first. That's
And
right.
this is a New York Times bestseller, The Secret History of Israel's Targeted Assassinations by Ronan Bergman. You can
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
it again on Amazon or whatnot. But what you just described,
Mhm.
um, there's like so many descriptions of that in the book that I'll just defer to the book because the minister said to read it.
Come
We
on.
need to become a nation of readers, and it just breaks my heart what I've been seeing in the news. But yeah, we have to step away from these devices, and I mean, I don't know if we'll ever be able to be in a society without cell phones or
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
some kind of electronic communication device, but we definitely need to not rely on them so much and get back to our connection to one another, right? But
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
same time, if you are running multiple businesses and
Mhm.
this is
Mhm.
why that's happening, you've got a lot going on and you don't really have the help. There could be a reason why the sister or the brother is doing this while you're talking, because that's happening. So it's important to get to the why. What is happening right now that you need to be on the phone, right?
Can't focus.
But it's
Right.
also important to communicate what Sister Tisha just said, how that makes me feel.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, if you have
Mhm.
a couple where brother is like this and sisters like this and everybody's good, then all praises to Allah. You know,
Mhm.
then apparently they're compatible. But if you have someone who's like this and the other person sitting there like, wow, I feel really neglected. Like, am I
Mhm.
Mhm.
important
Mhm.
to you? Like, I'm
Mhm.
sitting right here. Am I important to you at all?
Wow.
That's a problem. That
Wow.
then you need to have a discussion about how can we have balance in terms of
Mhm.
this electronic world and this one-on-one person building world that we're trying to do. We have to have some balance. But I
Wow.
always try to
Wow.
look at what the minister does. I don't think I've ever seen, and brother minister, you've been around the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan like a bunch of times, but the times I have been in the same room with him and have been in maybe a couple uh, meetings or interactions with him, when he's engaged and he's talking to someone, I have watched him. He's not doing, you know, all of this right here
Mhm.
while you're
He's
talking.
focused.
He is
He's
so
focused.
focused. He is watching you. He is looking at you. He's talking directly to you. He's not talking to you and looking over here. I mean,
Well,
it's incredible. Like, you almost feel like you're the only one in the room. You feel so special, just knowing
well,
who he is and just his intense focus on you. It's amazing. It's
it
amazing.
is.
That's how
It
we
is.
should be.
It is. And in the interest of time, I'm going to move to this conclusion quickly.
Mhm.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's focus comes from a concerted effort to make the other person feel their own value.
Mm.
That's something you have to intentionally do with a spouse. That comes through in the pages of relationship talks.
I love
One of
it.
the things that I love about the way that Sister Tisha handles me, and I'm
Mhm.
not trying to be mushy or
Teach,
soft or
brother.
weird or anything, but the way she handles me is that she makes me feel, most of the time, unless I've left my shoes in the living room,
Mhm. Teach, brother.
yeah,
Sorry.
unless I did that,
Teach.
but she makes me feel like I matter and
Yes.
that I count.
Before
When the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan focuses on people, he's practicing manners.
Mhm.
Good manners protect good morals.
morals. Mm.
Furthermore, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan practices that focus, he said once that every time he meets a human being, he's meeting someone who, in one way or another, is his superior.
I love it.
And he said that you find the superiority of the other person, and you're able to bow to that and show respect for that.
Nice.
And that is something that spouses have to do more than anybody else, because the
Mhm.
spouse is the person after Allah who should matter the most to you. And you should not treat anyone in the world more politely, more kindly, more gently, more
Mhm.
lovingly than you treat your spouse.
Yes.
You
Beautiful.
got a problem if your spouse talks to the 800 number operator, the
Mhm.
bill collector. Sure thing, great. We'll have it over to you on the 15th.
Right.
Great. No, my FICO score is a solid 385.
That's
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Solid.
I'm gonna get it over to you. Right. Hang up the phone with the bill collector, and the wife asks him something. He said, "What? What you want?"
Right. Right.
So you
Hurry
can't
up.
you can't
Yeah.
be rude to her.
Right.
You can't be rude to her and be
Mhm.
polite to everyone else. Oh, and speaking of this, before we go into it, the book
Beautiful.
that Sister Katrina held up, I'm going to ask her
Mhm.
to hold it up again. I want to give you that title
Mhm.
and another title. Sister
Oh,
Katrina, oh yeah, we're celebrating with balloons
sorry.
apparently.
Sorry.
But Sister Katrina, can you hold up the book title again? How the
Yes.
is it's called Rise and Kill First,
Yeah.
and we charge genocide. These are the books that the minister gave us on the bibliography that he gave us at Savior's Day. I want to encourage also the Palestine Laboratory.
Nice.
The
See, my
Palestine
book, I've
Laboratory.
been
How
reading it.
is
It's had some damage, brother.
yeah, no, that's good. When
Okay.
your books are dog eared, that's good. But how Israel exports the technology of occupation around the world.
Mm.
These are books that talk about how the enemies of the freedom of the people are committed to organized evil. If we're going to do good, then we have to be organized as well. And the first level of organization is a strong black relationship, a
Team.
strong black marriage. See, black marriage is an act of revolutionary movement and importance. When you
That's right.
build a strong black revolutionary family, when you build beautiful black children who love themselves and know the weight of the planet in total,
Mhm.
when they know how much is the land, how much is the water, what's the circumference of the planet at her equator, those children, that's a revolutionary act.
Mm,
I want to know tonight who's not scared to be a revolutionary.
Come
mm.
on.
If you ain't no punk, then get your book,
Come on.
find your person, go down to Texas if you have to, find the person, and get that person and say, look here, we about to go through
Here.
this book. Look here. You
You
know,
my woman.
We got
Huh?
some things to talk about.
Look here. You my woman. Wait. Yeah.
and,
That
and, and,
that
and
wasn't in the book.
So the next question that you have, Tisha, we have time for a couple of brief ones. Go ahead.
Wait, before I have an idea. Before instead of just doing a question because they don't want to hear our answers, they want to know what's in this book. Let's do like just thumb through wherever it stops. That's where it stops. And
Okay.
you read 5 questions. I read 5 questions. Don't answer them. We just want to give everybody an idea of what's in the
Okay.
book. Tell them
So
what section.
any section
Any
or
section,
different
wherever it
sections.
stops. You can just go like
Okay.
close your eyes and go
All right.
hamana 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 right there.
All
I'm
right, I got
on.
mine.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got yours?
I got mine. I'm in the
Love
section
you
called.
guys.
How did I get to this section?
What's
Intimacy activity.
Oh
look at mine. Look at mine. Look, look,
Where you
look.
at?
my
You
goodness.
always talking. Golly.
Okay, education and religion section.
Golly.
Page not wait a minute, page 106. No, 90. Page 90. We can just skip to page 90. Y'all
Okay, let's
not
go
get
to
me in
page
trouble
90.
today. Let me
No, no. Okay, this look, I'm stopping on mine. Okay, in intimacy and activity, just go, these are just examples of some of the things you find in the book. It says this is a thing you can do. Okay.
Look at Trina. Look at
Make
Sister
a
Katrina.
list
She's the
of
rarest of
things.
people.
Make a list of things you appreciate about your courtmate, fiance, or spouse. Also, write a list of things you can do to show appreciation of your courtmate, fiance, or spouse. Share this list with each other. It's just an activity. All
All
right.
right, that's one question.
This
You
one.
got you
So
alternating
you
with
roll.
me.
Yeah, roll with it.
Okay, here we go. Mine is from the section education and religion because I hear and obey. All right,
Yes.
so here we are.
Go ahead.
All right, here we are. Um, Number 10 in education and religion, the Holy Bible. See how she put that in there? It's
You
beautiful.
see, it's the Bible. The
Cornbread said, I
Bible.
thought this was a rated PG show.
It
right,
is.
ready.
It is. We're back to
go,
the
go
Bible. It
ahead,
is.
Cole.
Go ahead.
The Holy Bible says a wife is a gift from God to the husband.
Mhm.
Why? What's the meaning? Wow, that's pretty good.
All right.
Go
Let me
go
see.
ahead.
I'm
Your
in
viewers have to
transportation. Go ahead. Go ahead.
your viewers have to remember the two of you are still newlyweds.
We
So so I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, go
yes,
ahead, proceed.
we still use our book. We're coming up on year number 3, huh?
Praise
In
to
like 2 weeks,
Allah.
right?
Praise be to Allah.
Okay. Transportation, page 121. Let's see. Do you own a
Mm.
motorcycle? Have you ever had a motorcycle accident? How long have you owned a motorcycle?
And then when you ask that question, picture Gary Busey in your mind. You know Gary Busey, the guy that had the motorcycle accident and just says all kinds of weird stuff. Anyway, okay, no, the answer is no,
No.
and I'm sure that all of you in the no, there's some motorcycle people in there.
There's
I
some
see
motorcycle
some.
people, but what if
I'm
you
not
was a
going.
motorcycle person? Is that a
I'm
deal breaker? All right.
uh,
Go ahead.
and Super Sam Clark says he needs his book signed. You know, because everybody, Sister Katrina, he wants his book autographed.
Yes.
Okay, here's my
Okay.
next question. All right, we're
On
running
to
up on
number
time.
two.
Time, time.
Come to headquarters. We'll get a
Okay.
signed book for you.
All right. Here we go. The chapter is variety pack questions.
Okay.
Mhm. All right. You ready?
Mhm.
Simple question, but this matters. Do you like doing the laundry?
Whew,
It does matter.
Because it
that
has to
matters.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen. For shirts, I have an intimate relationship with Mr. Kim, my dry cleaner down the block. He sees me, I see him. We're going to see each other every week. It's a loving, kind
It
relationship. No
is.
problem.
I tried to get in the middle of it and I was kicked out. Yeah. It's just
So,
him and Mr. Kim. Don't
Mr.
touch my
Kim.
shirts. I'm going to my man. I was like, okay.
Right. You're like, but I
No.
got my MGT class.
Yeah.
I'm
Would you
trying to
like it?
iron your shirt. He was like, sister,
You don't have to do that. No, you really don't have to
cease
do
and
that.
desist.
I was like,
go
okay.
ahead.
I love
Your
it.
question.
But
This is
here's
number
another
3 for
thing.
you.
That
Hmm.
laundry question though,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. You have someone who might be like, yeah, that's a woman's job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do laundry over here. you know. But what if your wife gets sick?
Mm-hmm.
What if she's just, just can't do it, but it still needs to be done? You're just gonna let it pile up. You're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna deal with it. And how are you getting your clothes washed right now? You're
Right.
sending them out. You're paying a whole lot of money to get them laundered. I understand shirts. That's different. Dress shirts have to be treated in a certain kind of way, just like our precious garments we pay a lot of money for.
Yes, yes,
So
I'm not
yes.
precious.
just throwing them in the washing machine. No, I take them to the dry cleaner. So I understand that. But some other clothes, jogging pants, t-shirts, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're not washing those. You're paying money for someone to do. Why would you do that?
Yeah,
And so
that's the
again,
question.
if you have a couple, a man and a woman, and she does it too, and she's like, "Oh, great, we both, neither one of us want to do laundry. We both send it out." Then apparently they're compatible. Okay, great.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Right.
have someone who, and they're both not on the same page with that, okay, now we need to have a conversation.
Right.
All
I
right.
tried to
Now,
be on the page. But it was just that one time I washed your sweaters. You only lost 3 of
that
them. So,
don't bring
but
that
you
back.
didn't have.
Don't.
He's
I didn't do it
triggered.
again.
Uh,
He's triggered, sis.
I hung
oh,
them up all nice.
that was.
They're all
They
half
went,
shirts, and
they
I was
went
gonna.
to a size small, brother.
I said, who left my grandson's sweaters in here? What's going on?
I was like,
Okay. All right. That you didn't have to bring it up, but you brought it up. You got number 3, and I'm ready after that.
okay, privacy and health. Page 58, question number 100. How many hours do you sleep at night? Around what time do you go to sleep, and what time do you wake up?
That's a good
So,
question.
Who would have thought to think of that? But it's important.
so actual or real facts about myself. I used to sell Ambien. Some people know about Ambien, has been in rap songs and everything else.
Hmm.
Um, and so I had to study sleep and read a lot of clinical trials on sleep and a lot of data about REM sleep and the importance of sleep. And if you don't have sleep, what happens to you, and
Mhm,
in terms of
mhm.
your brain function and your ability to function, period. And so I learned a lot about getting a good night's rest and why that's important. And
Mhm.
over time, as I was interviewing couples about if they had had a divorce and why, what were some of the problems in their relationship, believe it or not, this question here, sleep, was became a big thing in terms
Wow.
of people not having the same sleep pattern, people wanting to sleep with the television on all night. Some people just not really believing in sleep, maybe getting a couple hours and then they would take naps during the day and all kind of, and so they weren't on the same cycle. And so in some cases, they weren't even in the same room. They discovered it's probably better for our marriage if we have separate bedrooms, right?
Mm.
And so people can feel whatever way they want
Wow.
to feel about that. Some people, it's been very successful for them. I know a couple, very
Mhm.
Mhm.
successful for them. And then there are others that felt like once they separated bedrooms, then everything else started separating, and they weren't as close anymore as they were when they were in the same room. So this question about sleep and your sleep hygiene is very, very important.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say this as we are at the top of our second hour. We're not going to take the second hour. We're going to go over. I've put in a request for the mystery man and the production team to allow us to have just 15 minutes, if you would. We're going to run right through this. We're going to get it good. We're going to
Ooh,
make it
loud
happen.
story. Mm.
Well, I don't want people to put Tisha's business out in the street
You
like
know
that.
what?
Yeah, I don't.
I'm telling. Let me find
Now there is
and
a surgery you can have or a procedure
I
you
don't
can have
snore.
for the
He says
snoring.
I girl snore. How do I sound when I girl snore?
I'm not even gonna lie. I think I snore, but I've been working on it.
Okay,
I have an
okay.
ear, nose, and throat, guys. So I'm gonna get that taken care of.
Well,
He said
y'all
I
know the
girl snore.
sound.
I
You
don't
know
think
the
I said it.
sound the sound when Leatherface was about to handle some business in Texas Chainsaw
Brother
Massacre.
Minister, no, you
Remember?
didn't.
Okay, okay. Anyway, okay. So,
All right.
so,
All
so.
right. I'm gonna get him back. All right.
Okay. No, 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 no. No.
Ooh, you're
It's my
gonna be in
question though,
trouble
right?
tonight, brother.
Is it my question tonight?
Yeah,
I'm
but
on the
Kia's
next question.
threatening you. Kia's like, what the? Mhm.
Right.
Come
What
for him,
the?
Kia. Come for him.
Look at that face. It's like
Come on, Ham. It's
Okay,
your turn.
that
okay.
CPAP machine, not the CPAP.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn. Okay.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Now we had the Bible said something earlier in one of my earlier questions. This one talks from the Holy Quran.
Okay.
It's from the category education and religion.
Okay.
And this question number number 6 on page 93.
Mhm.
And it reads, the Holy Quran states that a man should bring the good before requesting intimacy
Mhm.
from his wife. What does bring the good mean to you? And do you agree with this scripture? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Getting a little okay now, folks. If y'all in the chat room, everybody been chatting. Y'all,
Hmm.
come on, come on,
Mhm.
chat it up,
Chat
chat.
it up on that. Bring the good.
Bring the
Mm-hmm.
good.
Bring the
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm. I don't hear nobody say nothing about bringing the good.
Yeah.
They don't want none of the smoke.
They still
Some
on the
people.
chainsaw. They still on
You
the
still
CPAP.
yeah, worried about me snoring. You haven't redeemed me, Ham. I don't snore.
Okay, no, no. Of course, she doesn't snore. That had to be a joke. Come on.
Of
Now,
course.
let me just say this though. Sometimes bringing the good in some couples. I'm not going to name who they are,
Uh-huh.
but if you take out the trash,
Yes,
that helps you.
it does.
All right. If you don't leave, and that, some people, if you finish your meal and you want to help the wife clear the table and you put the dishes to be washed, don't put them on the counter.
No, that's no
Put
good.
them in the actual sink, or if you want extra points,
The
rinse
dishwasher.
them and put them in the dishwasher.
Come on.
Yes.
This is something that the good, as Brother William points out, we're going to start calling you Guru Swami William, because he
Okay.
points out the points that the good may be the kind action and the words. And
Yes.
so
Very well said.
sisters, how would you all weigh in on that?
I think that was very well said from Brother
Right.
William
Right.
and yourself. I mean, the good are all kind of small, kind deeds that one can do for your wife. Just think about it. And so it could be things like that at dinner time. It can also be making sure she never. I've met a sister that told me, "Oh, I don't get gas for myself. My husband goes to the gas station and gets gas for me. I haven't been to a gas station in years." I was like, "Oh wow, I need to get married. I'm a single sister filling my gas tank up. What? What?" And then, and then of course it snows. Sister said, "Oh no, I don't clean my car off. My husband wakes up early in the morning and he cleans my car off for me."
Yes.
I was like, "Okay." And so bringing the good could be all kinds of things
All
like that,
kinds of stuff.
right?
I love
Just kindness, kindness.
it.
All right,
But
all right.
we
Now,
like jewelry too, and I'm just
We do like Julie.
we
That's
do,
so good.
we do, we love date nights and restaurants
Of
and
course,
all that, plays and theater and
we do.
nice dresses and all of that bling and new purses and okay, I'll stop. But go ahead.
Mystery Man, are you in control of the audio button? Are you not able to push the right button? Okay, go ahead. It's your question now. It's your we. These are the last ones. Go ahead. You
Okay.
got one more, and
All
I
right.
got
So
one more.
this is a good one because
Oh,
when you're
and a man
newlywed,
that cooks. Did I say that part? Yeah.
a man that home
Oh
cook,
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
he cooks,
Hmm.
destroys the kitchen, but
Women
he
like
cooks.
that.
No, he's doing better. You're doing better, huh? If your spouse has a phobia about flying, but you do not, are you willing to travel with your spouse by boat, train, bus, or car to your destination? If you are the one with the travel phobia, would you expect your spouse to compromise or should you compromise?
Well,
That's a good
you
question.
got the expert.
Mhm.
Are you want me to actually say my little
No,
opinion?
I'm just saying that's
Now
a
think
question.
about that question in lieu of the new news out of Delta Airline,
Hmm.
and they people's ears start bleeding and everything because the
Mm-hmm.
cabin wasn't
Mm-hmm.
pressurized properly.
Wow.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just flying, and or that other flight where the door literally flew off out
Hmm.
out
Right.
the out
Right.
into the wilderness, and people thank God they were strapped in their they had their seatbelts on, or they would have went with the door. I mean,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
flying these days, it's kind of scary. It's a
It's
Hmm.
an
little.
iffy proposition. I want to thank you for that. I have a flight to Boston tomorrow
I'm
evening.
Oh,
so
Thank you.
sorry.
sorry for
Thank you.
that.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. Boston, we'll see you this weekend. But I do have to say that if my wife doesn't like certain times she'd rather fly than
Hmm.
drive, that's
Yes.
fine. Any drive that she takes of any great length, she don't want to go through certain states. It's something in her head. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like that state. It's always dark over there. It don't feel
Yeah.
right in that state. So you have to drive around the state. In that case, it may be better to fly than drive the extra 300 miles to miss the whole state that she don't like. So for me, accommodating the wife is not a problem because I'm used to all kinds of travel. Um,
Right.
the projects that Sister Katrina and I have worked on, and the first time I think it was in at 10-10-15,
That's true.
when you were organizing the outreach campaign and the street camp, and it blew my mind because I come in there expecting to have to coming at the last minute, but there was nothing for me to do. She had the whole Muhammad University of Islam laid out with supplies and volunteers and people coming in and whispering in her ear like she was Vito Corleone. I was like, "Whoa, this lady's tough,
Praise
right?"
Allah.
so, so yeah. But I mean, to answer the question, yes, I'm gonna accommodate whatever the wife wants because if she's happy, then we can get there together. Plus, she loves that when we ride in the car she gets to hear the Ohio players, the
Oh,
whispers, okay, the shy lights,
yeah.
okay. She gets some Wynoni Harris, little BB King, you know.
Right.
She
I be
Right.
having earplugs in. I be having the
you
earplug in this ear, the one closest to the window. He can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to compromise. Okay.
but I think the car is better because as Kia points out here,
Kia.
you love my singing. So
I sure do. Kia.
I had to meet you here today. Okay. I'm not even trying to front it off. You know what's up. You know
I
what's
know
up.
what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what's up. All right.
Bring
So
the good.
that was
But
oh now
Brother
you want
William said, "We fear nothing and no one but Allah," and he's true. That's all
that's right.
facts. right?
Oh,
That's right.
But guess what? We also know that this is a journey, right? And we're all in this journey, and it's just you and Allah, and everybody's not necessarily in the same place in their journey. And it's okay if someone has knowledge of something that happened in a certain state, and they're like, oh, we're not driving through that
mhm.
state because that's a sundown town. And let me tell you, we're not doing
Yes.
that. Not today, because I'm from the South and I know, like, and it's
Mhm.
okay to deflect, be like, no problem. We're going to go this way. It's
Mhm,
not a problem,
mhm,
right? And so, we still should travel in our movements, fearing
mhm,
nothing and no one but Allah.
mhm,
We should still travel in our movements safely and
That's
mhm,
right.
smartly.
mhm.
And
Hmm.
I mean, has the minister ever said anything against those two words in terms of safely and smartly?
Not a single
Uh-oh.
thing.
Okay.
Like you asked the earlier question about the motorcycle. The minister said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and this is not a knock on you motorcycle people. I know you born to be wild. I know all that. But we just say what the
All
minister said. The messenger told him an intelligent man wouldn't ride one,
that.
not as the primary means of transportation. But when we
Okay.
used to go to Harris County, Texas, in Houston, there was a motorcycle detail of the county sheriff's department with brothers in it. And they rode those motorcycles like they were fan. They would dip in and out of traffic and bend down and lean back up and pull back alongside the minister's window. And when they were escorting
Wow.
us into the city, and the minister was just having a ball, go, brother, ride that thing, man. Go
And you
ahead,
were
brother.
so cool.
He enjoyed it because he saw their skill. But remember, like Brother James is pointing out to us, being smart is being safe.
That's
Love
And
it.
right.
that's the way we need to do it. Last question. I got the last question. I'm
Oh,
so happy to have
okay. Go ahead.
the last word. So Katrina, can I just get my one last question in? We
Go
already
for
kept her 15 minutes over.
Okay,
We are
yes, we're
going to
sorry.
get a lawyer. We're going to get a letter from her lawyer. I know it. Okay, here we are. All right, here we are. Um, y'all all right?
it. Yes, sir.
Mhm, mhm.
This is question number 72 from page 55 of the section entitled "Privacy and Health."
Mm.
Health, rather.
Mhm.
Um, Do you have, oh no, 73 is the question. Have
Okay.
you ever been examined by a podiatrist or any other specialist? For what reason? And did you correct the issue? We
Mm.
want to know what them feet looking like.
What
We're
them
trying to
feet
find
looking like?
what the,
Look, I
what, the,
take
what them
care of
feet
my
look
feet. I take care of my feet. I have had some foot
like.
surgeries to make
Mhm,
sure I take care of my feet. But I
mhm,
have that question in there because my grandmother used to say, your health will depend on how well you take care of your feet and your
mm,
teeth.
mm.
Mm,
I
Oh,
said
wow.
feet and the teeth.
mm,
What?
Wow.
But she was
yeah.
all facts
Mhm,
because if
Mhm,
you don't have, good dental hygiene and
mhm.
you're missing teeth, well, guess what? That begins to affect how you digest your food because you
Mm,
mhm,
can't properly chew your food and consume it so that you can digest it properly, right? When you have
mhm,
dental and oral issues. And then with
mhm,
regards to your feet, if you don't take care of your feet properly, it can't hold the weight of your body, right? Your
right,
entire weight of your body is on the bones of your feet. And
right.
then now you can't walk properly. You stop exercising. You become immobile. And then when that happens, you start to gain weight and start to
mhm,
have other health issues. And so
mhm,
the importance of being healthy, that's why we wear these little Fitbits. We were
Yep.
told get 10,000 steps
Step.
in a day. Well,
Yep.
if you
mhm,
having foot problems, you're not walking 10,000 steps. You may not even be able to get, on average, they said for good heart health is 5,000 steps at
mhm,
Mm,
least. And so if
mhm,
you're having foot issues, you can't do that. And so it's important that we take care of our bodies. And that's an important question too, because a person who's not doing that, well, what other things are they not taking care of other than just
mhm.
their feet? What other doctor's appointments are they missing?
wow, wow.
And do they even
And
love themselves enough to take care of it? Because a person who doesn't love themselves, can they love other people if they don't love themselves?
Wow.
that's it.
So,
Minister
it's
Farrakhan
it's everything.
Minister Farrakhan once warned a small group of us at a table. He said, brothers, he said, I know you love me, but don't taint your love for me by not loving yourself.
That's right.
Mm,
You taint your love for him and give it the appearance of idolatry.
mhm.
when you don't love yourself enough. And some of us go through periods of time where we don't love
Right.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But after a certain time, you have to get up and begin to walk back into the light of Allah's mercy and grace. And so there's none of you watching this program on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teacher, featuring our special guest, Sister Katrina Muhammad, who's not
Yes.
really a guest, who's a member of the family. But
Thank you.
all of that you're watching, there's not one of you who can see this program who is
Mm-hmm.
beyond the reach of God to save you.
Right.
There's
Teach.
no problem that you got that's too big that the solution has not been provided under the mercy of the Creator. There's not anything that you have done that you should be so overwhelmed with guilt and shame that you poison your own heart against yourself and shrivel up and die. When God tells us, we're not preaching on nothing but the truth. I can hear Dave C right now. Oh my goodness.
Preach.
But I have to say this to you.
Come on.
I have to say it. Allah says in the Holy Quran, He said, "Oh, my servants who have been
Uh-oh.
prodigal
You froze.
regarding your souls," hmm? He said, "Despair not of the mercy of Allah." He says, Allah forgives sin altogether.
Mm.
He forgives sins altogether. Your sin can be wiped away and cast into the sea of forgetfulness, and you can reclaim the vitality that Sister Katrina is telling us is a part of the life that keeps us living long and living well. And a major part of that is being married
Mhm.
healthily, having a family,
Mm-hmm.
a strong one, a
Mm-hmm.
happy one,
Mhm.
and if you're not married or living in a family like that, that's all right. Doesn't mean you can't live long and healthy. You can because Allah is God over all these things.
That's
But
right.
check this out. If you are married, take the trash out, brother. I'm trying to tell you what I know right now. Take out the trash, bro. Don't let her touch the gas pumps. Don't let her touch gas pumps. They don't like to do it. They don't like to do it.
Really
All
don't.
right?
And get
They don't.
pedicures together. Go
And,
get a
and get the,
pedicure together. Go
mhm.
get a couples massage. Go get a manicure together. Spend time taking care of each other and do those things
Self-care.
together. Why not?
That's it. That's it. And that's how we make the difference that we've made. Wow, we had a great show tonight. Teach, what do you
I love
think?
it. I love
Yeah,
I
all
love it.
right.
Thank you
It's
all
just
so
it
much.
just
This
bears
was
witness that this marriage, when you get into a marriage, it's a new journey between two
Hmm.
people trying to
Hmm.
become one, right?
Hmm.
And some folks' feet might be a little rougher than the other, but let them walk ahead. Right. Sorry, huh? Never mind. Side note. It's a journey. Take your relationship talks book and
awesome.
help guide yourself
Finish up the
through it.
show. Can't
That's
finish
Yeah,
on a good note.
I'm just saying. I had to get you back from that snoring
Thank
foolishness.
you all
All
for
right,
You're
tuning
welcome.
in.
guys.
Thank you
Don't
all
forget to
for
go
tuning
like,
in.
share, and subscribe.
Don't
Yes, for
forget to
sure.
go right now to order your book. You can do it right now. Go email Relationship Talks Book, Relationship Talks with an S, book
Hmm.
at gmail.com. That's where you communicate with the author. That's where you get your copy of the book shipped to you. You can order it on Amazon, or as our sister wisely points out, come on out to the Sunday meeting at the national headquarters of the Nation of Islam, Mas Mariam in Chicago, the National
Number
Center.
two.
Number two, come on over and see to it that you meet Sister Katrina in person and get your copy of the book. It's something that I think you'll find great worth in.
Great fun.
Teacher, it's great. It's been great having you, Sister Katrina. We love
Thank
you. We
you.
appreciate you.
I love you
And I
both.
know what y'all say. They're all so comfortable together. They look like they hang out in Chicago and they got the same coffee spot they go to every time they all in Chicago together. You
Yes.
Sure.
mind your
Gotta
business,
eat to
don't
live.
they
Worry
got
about
to live.
yourself.
Don't worry about that. We
One need
already know that.
to
They got to know what to do. So, family, thank you all for everything. If it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. May Allah
May I
bless
say
you
one
one and
thing?
all.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Someone said, "What do you have to say about getting audited in the courting process?" Well, the minister said, encouraged us to get audited. So I have auditing questions in the book as well as questions about the COVID vaccine and a bunch of other things, especially that was going on at that time. But the minister talked about getting audited and said that it was important for us to do so. Yes, that's in the book. There are questions like that in the book. I just wanted to answer the
Mhm.
person in the chat. I think that was Super Sam Clark.
Super Sam Clark. And we tell you, Super Sam Clark and all the rest of us, Sugar Shack is with us, Sister Javon, and all the
That's
crew.
right.
We all gather here together on Thursday nights because we give strength to each other and we gain strength from each other. But
We
I
love it.
know you're going to have questions, and Sister Tisha, we see this from time to time. There'll be a number of questions that will continue to come in on the link even after we sign off the air. That we're
Right.
not signing off to shut you out. We're just
Right.
signing off to begin the next step of the progress, which is where you get your copy of Relationship Talk. I think everybody can hold up their copy of Relationship Talks, can't we all? I think we can do that. And that makes for a great, great snapshot, a great thumbnail. But when you get this book, you got something.
You
And
do.
we are happy to have brought it to you tonight. May Allah bless you, Sister Katrina. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us.
you,
Thank you.
family.
Thank you.
Tisha, I would stay, but I got to go take the trash out. So I'm gone.
Now,
All right.
get it
May
going.
Allah bless
That's
you,
right. For
everybody.
good.
Salam, salam
Assalamualaikum,
alaikum.
family. See you next week, same
Assalamu
time.
alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.